Here. Okay. Towan Davis. Member Fernandez Ketchum.
Yes, here.
Member Freed.
Yep.
Member Bowden.
Present.
Member Sue. Member Shaw. We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Secretary, thank you very much. Can you all hear me without this, or shall I put this on? Is there a recording need to use the microphone? If you can't hear me, say something if you would. Welcome to June, and to this very important meeting of the Water Board. We're going to discuss today and determine whether DEP's proposal to raise the New York City water rate by 2.36% should be approved. We're also going to review the FY 2019 annual budget. There are people here, and I'd like for the record to reflect that they're here, so I'll mention their names. DEP Commissioner Vincent Sapienza, DEP Deputy Commissioner Michael Deloach, and other DEP staff. Present also are DEP Chief Financial Officer, Water Board Executive Director Joseph Murin, Water Board Treasurer Omar Nazem, Water Board Counsel Greg Acierto, and Water Board Secretary and Counsel Albert Rodriguez. I think I got everybody. Also present are representatives from the board's rate consultant, Amawak LLC, Ed Marcus, and Sean Lynn. Welcome. Thank you for being here. The first agenda item is the approval of minutes, the April 27th meeting. The members have all had an opportunity to review the minutes. Are there any proposed corrections, any changes? Hearing none, may I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes of that meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Adam. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
The resolution is approved. The minutes are accepted. Next is a resolution for the adoption of our annual budget. And I don't think there's going to be a presentation for that, but,
There's resident projected out so the public can see it.
yeah, so you're going to do that now?
Yeah.
They're not having a lot of luck with that.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That's the best we can do.
Well, the members have had an opportunity to review the proposed fiscal 2019 annual budget. Are there any questions about it? Hearing none, may I have a motion, please, to approve?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much, Adam, for the second. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously. The third agenda item is a resolution which, if approved, will adopt the DEP's proposed increase of the water rates for fiscal year 2019. I'm going to do something that I haven't done before at this part of this particular meeting, and that's to offer some comments about some of the things that we heard while we were in the 5 boroughs. This is the first proposed increase in 3 years, and there have been no increases in the 2 preceding fiscal years. It is the lowest proposed increase in 15 years. The proposed rate increase is supported by the board's rate consultant. And DEP's proposal and the underlying analysis have been reviewed thoroughly by this board. DEP has conducted public hearings in each of the 5 boroughs. This board was represented at each of these hearings, and I want to thank the members for taking the time to be in each of the 5 boroughs for these hearings. It's difficult sometimes to make those meetings, but you all represent this board extremely well. We want to thank Commissioner Sapienza and Executive Director Murin for their commitment in making very thorough presentations of the proposal at each hearing. I want to thank Michael Deloach for serving as hearing officer at each of these, one of the hearings. Michael, thank you very much for that. Public attendance was generally light, leading me to conclude that the proposed increase was not troubling to the public generally. Though each person offering comments opposed the increase. Only one person giving testimony offered a financial analysis, which was intended to demonstrate that the proposed increase is unnecessary. We reviewed that analysis, listened very carefully to it. It failed to include some assumptions, and therefore, we believe was in that sense inaccurate. Do any of you want to comment on that?
No, I concur.
We listened and discussed that analysis very thoroughly, so we did not give it short shrift. The man who did the presentation is committed to thorough analysis, and it was a very impressive presentation. I think we all enjoyed hearing it, and it took a while to figure out what he'd left out of it. Of great interest to this board and the subject of several conversations were the comments received by DEP and by this board regarding affordability. Several commentators strongly support our multifamily affordable housing credit. As you know, this credit is capped at $10 million. Two of these people recommended that the cap be doubled to $20 million. These people also opposed the 2.36% increase. So while that's a bit of an imbalance, we are going to look very seriously at whether there is anything that we can do to increase that number, whether it's reasonable to try to do that. We have not made that decision yet. Would you like to comment on that?
No, I would just add, Mr. Chair, that, yes, we would be considering and relooking at the affordability element of that multi-family assistance program, either as it is construed now or going forward into the future in terms of other affordability measures. So that's something that will be coming back, before we set the rates for next year's to have perhaps some ideas for the board to consider at that time.
Thank you very much. Any other comments?
General.
Yes. On that. I'm sorry. On that.
Wear that pretty
I've been asking for it. Several people commented that DEP needs to update its current billing system, a process that is already underway and indeed nearing completion. And we're very proud of that. Several organizations commented on the need to separate the billing of sewage from the billing for wastewater, with the objective to spread the cost equitably among ratepayers. We listened very carefully. I was surprised to hear there were several people who made very similar comments on that subject matter. And obviously, we're going to look at that, but that is not something that we're going to make any decisions on in anticipation of this vote. Are there other comments on that? Please, Ed.
Thank you. I feel it's my annual time to echo. I first and foremost appreciate DEP and the commissioners' attendance at the public hearings. I think it's really important to demonstrate to the public our commitment to transparency and to serving the customers and the citizens. So really appreciate the time and effort that goes into that. Related to the stormwater charge, it's something I've certainly been talking about since becoming a board member, and we continue to encourage us to look at separating a stormwater charge for a more equitable rate related to stormwater, and to be able to incentivize more sustainable stormwater management for properties. I think the Swim Coalition and many others had a very thoughtful proposal, and I would encourage us as a board. We have a very full docket today, but at a meeting coming up to consider a resolution, putting on record our support for DEP, and I know that there is a commitment from DEP to look at this issue, and having gone through an effort in Detroit where we worked with the city in my day job, helping them roll out a separate stormwater charge for the first time with an antiquated billing system that did not match parcel ratings and all of the challenges that come with that. This is hard, and this is both a policy issue and an operational issue and a data issue. So recognizing the complexity and appreciating that those elements need to come together, having this study happening now that can look at what an equitable stormwater rate may be, how do we catch up with other municipalities that have been able to leapfrog us because they didn't face some of the complexity and challenge we have in New York, is something that I'd love to see us continue to do and continue to be actively engaged with DEP and others on this issue. So I think that is a issue I'll continue to to push forward and see ways that we can modernize our rate to help us achieve multiple goals that we have as a water board and as a city.
I absolutely agree. Along with their statement, they submitted a 20-plus page white paper. So I don't remember what the acronym stands for. But, I read that white paper with interest. It's very logical. It makes a lot of sense. The question is whether we can do it and how we do it if we decide we can. But I agree. We will have a meeting to talk about that very issue. It may be the only issue on the agenda. We're going to talk about it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are there other comments about anything else?
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, there were two issues that were raised that I thought were important that we address. I don't know if you intended to address them otherwise, but I'll just mention them. One is a question about how the cap on the multifamily program, affordability program, is administered. And historically, there was a comment that historically it had been first come, first served in terms of access to the program, and that it will be a need-based calculation subject to complying with the filing deadline and meeting the requirements going forward. And there was a question about how we would be assessing need just in the interest of transparency. And we, the board, followed up with the folks from DEP to make sure we're clear on that. And the answer is, in fact, that that aspect of the assessment is done by HPD. It's not done by the water board or by DEP. And it's done using a ratio that relates to the relationship between rent and, so I believe it's the median income in the area. Yes. And so there's an objective metric, and it seems reasonable, and it's not administered by DEP or by the water board. But I thought it was important, in light of that comment, that we put it clearly on the record that there is a transparent and objective method for determining who gets access to that program. The one other comment that was raised that I thought it was important that we respond to, and I may not be the best person suited to respond to it on the merits, but the contention that the so-called innocent purchaser provision that is being amended in the rate schedule, that is potentially going to leave people exposed. Mr. Mirren had explained to me, and I think maybe to others, why the comment about that was actually not spot on. I apologize for putting you on the spot, but I wonder if you wouldn't mind just addressing it.
No, that's fine. Thank you, Jonathan, because there was some clarification subsequent to, the comment from the constituent. I can't remember who it was. It was one of, but anyway, Ashokin. That was the Ashokin. That was the one. But we did add firm DEP limits, so we changed that since then. We went back to look at it after the comment was raised, and I'll get to another one as well, where we added a firm DEP limit of 30 days to issue a title related consistent with the prior innocent purchase program. So that way we plan that would mitigate those types of situations arising from there. And also that bills issued in connection with the title would be contested in a similar manner as any other bills. So we remove limitations on downward adjustments of title read bills. So we believe those adjustments to the way we've drafted the change will address concerns raised by the constituent. The other part also, and I don't know if you were planning to address this, but on the letter of authorization, that constituent also raised the fact that they thought the 2 years, even from going from 1 year to 2 years, was still too de minimis of a period, because some of these appeals, when they do happen, can be rather lengthy and extended before they finally reach a conclusion. So we did also listen to that, and we've amended that to add that to go to 3 years instead of a 2-year limitation, or at the discretion of what the contracted party and the ratepayer may agree to, whether it's a year, 5 years, or 6 years. So we think that also address one of the concerns raised in that manner.
No, thank you for answering that and for all of your work and what we're to need staff in connection with these hearings and presentation, all of which are excellent.
Top shelf. Top shelf. I can echo that, but it's just repetitive. You all have done a terrific job in keeping us informed and in ginning up the materials that were needed for these hearings. We're very fortunate to have you doing the work you're doing. I can't say enough about that. But I can say thank you again. Are there any other comments related to the public testimony? Any other questions about the rate proposal, which appears in this packet of information? So we've had a chance to take a look at it.
I just one quick point, Mr. Chairman. We have now, I think, addressed here every single substantive, this is a significant substantive point that was addressed over the course of the public hearings or testimony, not necessarily in great detail, but these were the issues that were raised. And so I think that notwithstanding the fact that there was relatively sparse attendance, the folks that did show up at the borough hearings and that did submit testimony appreciate, as you said, how seriously we take their concerns, and the fact that we've tried to address each area of concern head on and thought about it in anticipation of voting.
It's a lot of work. One final comment before I ask for a vote. These public hearings are extraordinarily important to DEP and to this board. I cannot say enough about that part of the process. It is therefore sometimes disappointing that we don't have decent, whatever that means, a number of people who are there prepared to comment. It doesn't matter whether the comments are controversial. It doesn't matter whether we agree or disagree. What's important is that we know from the people who live in each of the boroughs what it is that concerns them about the decisions we have to make. Without that commentary, all we have is what we think are the best things to do, and we try to do. Given that these meetings are open and that anybody who chooses to attend can come, whether they're from that borough or not, I mean, what do we do? The objective is to take that testimony, and I don't know how to encourage more of the public to come to these meetings. I don't know what to do. We give public notice. We do everything we can to make sure that people are there in numbers, and we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep trying. But if you're talking to your friends and neighbors in and around the 5 boroughs, please don't hesitate to let them know that we're out there for them. If they have any water interests, concerns, difficulties, we'd like to hear about them. All right, you've all had a chance now to review the resolution as amended. As the executive director has suggested. Are there any questions about it? No proposed revisions? Additional revisions? All right, that being the case, may I have a motion, please, to approve it?
So moved.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much, Adam. All in favor, please indicate with aye. Aye. Any opposed? Then the rate increase proposal passes unanimously. Thank you all very much. The last agenda item is the adoption of a resolution extending the contract with American Water Resources for
Alfonso, we should clarify we're amending the agenda and confirm there are no objections by members to the amendment.
Yes. Yes, okay. I agree. How do you make sure that's in the record? We'll assume that was.
Yes.
All right. So there's a resolution in the packet for the adoption of for the extension of the contract to American Water Resources and for the protection of water and sewer lines. Have you all had a chance to read the proposed resolution, or the resolution as written?
Mr. Chair, do you want, I'm sorry, I was
Yeah.
going to say, do you want me to just go through a little recap, so, for both for the audience as well as for the record as well? Okay. Certainly. I wanted to note that the program was introduced in 2013, and this was where we had, we as the water board through through the treasurer, had competitively bid for a service to provide a water line and sewer line protection program, where the individual ratepayer homeowner will pay a fee of, I believe in this instance, we're up to how much a month or on?
About $13.
About $13, and where they then have the ability, if they do have a problem with their water line or their sewer line, that this vendor, American Water Resources, will be able to come in and, through contracted plumbers, be able to fix those things at at little to no cost, therefore saving in many instances thousands of dollars that many homeowners have incurred when they have such an incident occur. So the program began in 2013. It runs, we have about 266,000 of DEP's 840,000 accounts are now enrolled in one or both of those programs. It's continuing to grow, so it's been very successful. The contract did expire in January. We had done, under my auspices as the executive director, had done 2 interim extensions on that contract, but doing the larger extension is a merit for the board to consider. So we're interested in pursuing it because it has been so effective, and it will allow us to continue this program without disruption to the many customers that have already joined this. Right now, there is no price increase foreseen at this time. It's not to say that we will not have considered that, but we will be coming to the board in the future if any such price increase is going to be contemplated. So this would be extended at the terms that are now in existence for the next 5 years.
Great work.
So one question I had is that we projected the full year expenses of about $39 million for FY18. We're projecting $46 million for FY19. Is that just an increase of people signing up that would reflect that increase, or what would be the
New customer.
new customers?
Yes.
Okay, so it's as you
Not
said,
price.
it's not an increase in price, it's an increase in the reach of the program.
Yeah, because we've been, what is it, about 33,000 a month or so?
Yeah,
Still signing up.
2,000 to 3,000.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, so it's really been, yes, it's still, we were, I think they were very surprised as well. This really took off a lot faster than they had originally planned on it. So it's been very successful, I think, for the company as well as for us and our many ratepayers. So.
And the service, Joe, is for the combined water and sewer lines.
It could be one or both. They
can
could do
do
either
one,
just
yeah.
water, just sewer, or both
I see.
together. So.
And do you have any sense of how people have bought in? Do they buy in for both lines? Do they buy in for half?
But most people do both. It's 90% plus do both.
And the $13
Is both.
just as for both?
Correct.
And it's every month?
Correct.
Right. As I said, it could cost anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000 if you have one of those lines open. So.
Thank you very much. Are there questions, Joe?
I had a question. I'm wondering, have we seen situations where customers have asserted claims under their policies, and situations where we and the customers believe that they are entitled to some sort of payment or reimbursement, and the company has not been willing, not prompt in providing those reimbursements, or has our sense been that the company has been living up to its obligations? And I ask that question the way I do because I realize that there may be instances where people assert claims where they believe they're covered and they may not be, and that sort of thing. But in instances where there are meritorious claims, do we find that the coverage that's being provided is conformity with what we would expect and what the customers agreed to as part of the contract?
Or you want to?
I would say generally, yes. There have been a very small number of cases where, because of kind of the complex configuration of how the property is laid out, what lines serve which property, there's been ambiguity about who is covered for what. We tend to get involved in those cases and it's help kind of understand how the property is laid out. But in normal cases without any kind of complex property issues, I think the coverage is what you would expect it to be. And it's satisfactory to everyone's standard.
And where there are complexities, do they work with you, with DEP to figure out?
Absolutely, yes. We put our field people out to help understand what line is where and who's cross-connected to who. We do that, yes.
Thank you.
Terrific. Are there other questions?
No.
none, may I have a motion, please, to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That is the last piece of official business that we have. I thought I would give a brief update of the work of the yesterday's work of the Joint Audit Committee. As most of you know, and certainly everybody on the board is aware, there is an audit committee that comprises 3 members from the Water Board and 2 members from the Water Finance Authority. This is audit planning season, and we met yesterday with the auditors, laid out the audit plan for the year, and made the required disclosures that auditors have to make at this time of year to those firms that they are auditing. They're required to do it by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. It was a good meeting. They did some comparisons and contrasts of what they're going to do this year versus what they did last year, and we're looking forward to working with the auditors. The audit will probably be presented, the audit of the financial statements will be presented, I believe, in October. That's correct. Is that right? Okay. And unless there are questions about that, may I have a motion, please, to adjourn?
Point of order,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Under the board's bylaws,
Yes.
when there's a last-minute change in the agenda,
Yes.
that has to be noted in the record, and you need to see if any of the board members have any objection to the amendment.
So the joint audit committee comment was not appropriate without it having been.
No. Sure, we go on record with.
No,
Oh,
no,
I see.
no, it's just, that should be the last piece of business.
Thank you.
No.
There was a last agenda item. There was a last minute change in the agenda. It has been removed from the agenda without objection so far. Of any of the members.
No objection.
John, if you can. It has to do, the agenda item was fiscal year 2019 rate proposal for customers north of New York City. It just turns out we need to put that off for a while, and we're going to do that. Al, thank you very much. Now, are there any other questions? Any other business come before the board? Hearing nothing, may I have a motion, please, to adjourn?
Moved.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. The motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming.
The raising of